Good afternoon, everyone. Goedemiddag. I'm going to be very, very quick. We've had a day and a half of creativity and the most incredible work from writers, veteran writers and young writers, new voices from all over, and it was quite an exciting few days. We are using this closing of TextMark also for a very special announcement, which will follow as soon as we've done some official things from our side. The session will be multilingual, so please, anyone who wants to speak in whatever language, you are more than welcome. It is my pleasure to welcome Laura Foote to the stage, CEO and Artistic Director of the Baxter Theatre. We have had the privilege of working with her for many, many years here at the Baxter. The Baxter is always welcoming to host TextMark. And they've been a driving force behind the project. And if it wasn't for the Baxter, and if it wasn't for Laura Foote, we would have not been now at the 9th edition of TextMark. So a huge thank you and a huge welcome to Laura Foote.
Good afternoon, friends of the Baxter. Good afternoon, friends of TextMark. And then a very special welcome to our special guests, Crispian Son, Chairperson of KAKNK, Lesego Mafora, Head of CSI of SAMRO, Lionel Kunene, Senior Technical Advisor of the Jobs Fund, Sipokazi Ndlovu, Project Manager of the Jobs Fund, Sipiwo Mahala, Deputy Chair of NAF, Cornelia Rockstar Fassen of NIT, Hugo Teert, KAKNK, Sarki Botha, Woordfees, Andre Leroux, IKS Consulting, James French, Concerts SA, Jana Hatting, Seth Oosterfees, Bosman Puren, Aardklop, Monica Newton, NAF, and Rusera Seethal, NAF. They gave me that very long list. I just want to point that out. First of all, thank you, Hugo, for TextMark. It's a wonderful initiative, and the Baxter's very proud to be part of it. After its first year, Hugo and I went into conversation about making TextMark more open to diverse languages, and the Baxter came in with our little 100,000 a year to support this venture, and I'm very proud of it, and just all hats off to Hugo for making such a wonderful initiative. And you know, this market where young or up-and-coming or all writers and directors and theatre makers can present their work, and it's a kind of a market for producers, and producers that take a lot of care of the work and develop the work. It's very much like what I've seen in both Ireland and Scotland with the NACs of those two countries. This event is unique today. I won't announce what it is, but it's about partnerships. And essentially the industry, these lights are very bright. An industry cannot be an industry without groups. And this is something we have to realize very quickly in the arts industry. For us to flourish and to make sustainable work, we need to work together. Just yesterday, I had a fabulous meeting with Sarki about 2 wonderful productions we're going to do together next year here at the Baxter, starting at Woordfees, and also with Hugo for some productions in 2026. 2026, yes. And this is the way that the industry can work. We have to make sustainable work for artists. It's too long now that artists are struggling, that don't have the dignity of pensions and medical aids. We've had a company now, a full-time company for the last 5 years. 5 people for the next 3 years. But for the last 25 years, I've wanted this company. And one of the young company members said the other day in a meeting with the minister, Mackenzie, said it was the first time she felt normal because she had a salary and she had a pension. and she had a medical aid. And I was very emotional when she said this, because this is a problem with artists and for our technical crews, that they job it. And there's very little integrity in that unless we can create sustainable employment. Just this last year, one of the company members came to me and he showed me a picture of his new car. And although he had already established himself in the industry, because he was getting this smallish salary from the Baxter, he was able to go to a bank and borrow money for a car. Another artist came, who's also working here, not in our company, but in one of our theaters, but on a full-time salary, came and showed me pictures of her new apartment. Same thing, because she had a salary of sorts, she was able to go to the bank and borrow money. Like any of us on salaries can borrow money to buy a little house or a flat, or even just to pay our rent. And this is something in our partnerships that we are growing, that I really hope we can put on the agenda. Sustainable employment and some kind of a dignity in the way that artists work and survive. I think I'll just stop there because I only allowed 5 minutes, right? So welcome everyone. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'm specifically excited about this unique opportunity that is being presented here today, and unique in the sense of who the partners are, and congratulations to all of those that were part of putting this wonderful adventure together. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Everything that we do in this industry is about collaboration. It's not an individual. There's altyd 'n klomp mense wat iets moontlik maak. And it's the same with TechSmack. I need to thank a few people. Thank you to the evaluation panel, Diane de Beer, Cornelia Fasen, Tracy Saunders, Leanne van Rooy, and Rahim Whiskery, who read through more than, I think, 108 script ideas to eventually choose 15 that was presented here and 15 that will be presented at TechSmack Joburg in end of October. Thank you so much. Huge applause to them. It's an amazing task. Thank you to the wonderful Nardis Engelbrecht for your beautiful photographs always. Thank you to Gijs, who was the videographer. The AV and streaming by DPK. Thank you to the Baxter technical team. It's a lot of you. Thank you so much. You were all amazing. Huge round of applause to you. And obviously, thank you to all the front of house staff, the supporting staff at the Baxter. I also need to thank the Kakankas staff, Lizanay Basson, JC Okamp, Devencha Kennedy, Colleen Swartz, Nicolette van der Merwe, and Bernard Leroux. Thank you for organizing all of this, and it ran really smoothly. Thank you. And then TechSmack cannot happen without the support and the willingness to participate of all the writers, the directors, and the actors. Thank you for your time, thank you for your effort, and thank you for your enthusiasm, and for always sharing your creativity and your joy for what we do. Thank you. But our main partner for this with the Baxter Theatre is an organization called NATI, the Nasionale Afrikaanse Theater Initiatief. Most of you will know Nati just as Cornelia Fasen. she is Nati. She's got an amazing board. I'm not going to say much because I think she's going to thank them individually as well. Welcome to stage, Cornelia Fasen.
Hello. Guess there are people who actually think my name is Dear guests, artists, and partners, I have the honor of celebrating the closing of the KAK's Texmark project. This project is a shining example of what is possible when we collaborate across boundaries. We would like to express our sincere gratitude to all the partners, first and foremost the KAK and the fantastic team, obviously Hugo Tiart, Lizanay, JC, and Bernard. There is an astounding amount of work that goes into this project, and we really thank you for taking on that work. So please. Thank you to the Baxter, Laura Foot, and Fahim Stellenboom for your incredible hospitality and support through the years. Then the other arts festivals that are present here today and represented by Monica Newton, Jana Hatting, Sarki Botha, and Bosman Piran, and all the festivals and theatres that I'm sure are watching online. And lastly, of course, our most important guests, the artists, the writers, and then you as the audience that came to support this event. Your contributions have made this platform for creativity and dialogue possible. A special thank you from my side to the Board of NATI, represented by Astrid de Vos and Marita Swanepoel, for your unwavering support and the privilege of working for an Afrikaans organization that values and celebrates other South African languages and creates and funds platforms where this commitment is made visible and where we use the language of theatre to talk to each other and not about each other. In a world that is so often divided, this collaboration shows us the power of art to build bridges. Our artists have told stories over the past 2 days that challenge us to look beyond our own experiences and recognize the humanity in each other. By hearing and understanding each other's stories, we begin to appreciate the complexity of our South African society. This mutual understanding is the foundation upon which we can build a more inclusive and more empathetic community. As we move forward, and especially with the announcement that will be made today, let us never forget to cherish this spirit of collaboration and understanding. Let us continue to create spaces where diverse voices can be heard and where art can help us see the world through someone else's eyes. Together, we can create a future in this country where art not only entertains, but also serves as a real catalyst for positive change. Baie dankie.
Thank you, Cornelia. I also want to thank all the partners and people who attended and who are always willing to collaborate. I don't think anything that we do in theatre can happen without us putting our different funding together to create new work and to travel that work. And that's how Texmark works. Hopefully from this year's plays that were presented, or script ideas, we will now go into different conversations, and through that, we will then be able to, between the partners, support the writers and ultimately support the producing of the productions. One of these partners, who is someone, is a group of people who has been attending the Texmark since the beginning of the first year in 2016. And it is now my privilege to also welcome to stage the chairperson of AK 21, Japie Gous, who would like to say a few words. Japie.
Baie dankie, Hugo. Dames en heren, AK 21 het in die oudheid gestaan vir Aardklop 21. En dit het ontstaan is 'n groep mense wat by mekaar gekom het omtrent 16, 17 jaar gelede. En ons het besluit om 'n fonds te stig om uiteindelik nuwe debuutwerke by Aardklop te finansier. Toe het aardklop op 'n stadium amper toegemaak en hy's weer oopgemaak. En toe verander ons naam na AK21 toe in plaas van aardklop 21. Nou ons weet nie presies waarvoor die AK staan nie. Miskien het iemand gesê staan dit vir Afrikaanse kuns. Ons het oor die jare 'n redelike fonds opgebou en ons het nog elke jaar nuwe debietwerke gefinansier. Vir jaar finansier ons weer 2 debietwerke wat beide by aardklop debiteer. Die een is Stinkhout van Philip Rademeier en die tweede een is Laaitjie met die biscuit van Christo Davids. Ons wil graag vandag vir u sê, want ons is nie eintlik maar net weer finansier nie, maar net goed wat by aardklop debiteer nie. Ons finansier iets wat by enige kindsfees debiteer, maar wat ook na ander feeste toe kan gaan. So ek wil dan graag vandag namens AK21 vir u uitnooi om aansoek te doen, vir ons te laat weet indien u 'n goeie stuk het wat ergens gaan debiteer, of ons nie daarmee daar kan help met die finansiering daarvan nie. So julle kan al my besonderhede by Hugo kry en julle is baie welkom om by ons aansoek te doen. En ons is nogal trots op al die goed wat ons in die verlede al gefinansier het. En baie van hierdie produksies wat ons gefinansier het ook al pryse gewen. So dis nie ligtelik nie, ons gee nie min geld nie. Ons gee 'n hele paar rand. So u is baie welkom, so ek bemark eintlik dat u asseblief aansoek doen en vir ons vra. Ons kan u dalk net help. Baie dankie.
Baie dankie, Japie. All right, the Klankeren National Arts Festival will take place from the 1st to the 6th of April. Its 29th edition next year. It will be, for me, sadly, the last time that Crispin Son, it will be my first festival without Crispin Son as my chair. He has been an incredible force in our industry and an incredible support for myself and the team. And it is now my privilege to introduce the chair of the Klankeren National Arts Festival and Kunste Onbeperkt, Crispin Son.
Goedemiddag allemaal. Good afternoon everybody and thank you. This is a first for me. Since a young boy I used to sit in these chairs coming to watch various productions with our school and then with my parents. And it's the first time I'm on this platform, standing here looking up. It's quite an intimidating place to be. I've got one real job, it's actually to introduce Andre Leroux, but before I do that, I'm sure you will allow me to say a few words and I'd like to make a few comments. Firstly, I do want to thank Lara and the team at the Baxter for hosting us again. For their generosity, but it's also an indication that open access and excellence don't compete with each other. You know, you've been able to be inclusive, make this place an accessible place for everybody and still maintain a threshold of excellence. So thank you for hosting us and thank you for maintaining that focus on excellence through the arts. I also do want to acknowledge Lionel. We had the opportunity to talk with Lionel, Lesego, Sipokazi, and obviously Andre. And so this is really a fantastic occasion to bring the arts into this, where I think the country is the space where we actually have a focus on creating dignified futures for young people. And that's through employment, meaningful, gainful employment, and in a structured way, not in an ad hoc way. So partnering with you in, well, let me not take I promise I'm not going to take the wind out of anyone's sail here, but what is about to unfold is something quite momentous. It's okay, it's actually quite appropriate that it happens on the Texmark stage. So Texmark is one of the things I've been very proud to be associated with through KAK&K and through obviously our partners like Cornelia, through Saartjie with Woordfees, Japie in his time at the Aardklop and Jana at Suid-Oosterfees, with partners, because what we do is we create a place that attracts young writers and new ideas. And often the arts creates a platform to tell a story about society to society. So I think Cornelia said it well, where we're talking with each other, and we get these ideas, and very often, and we know we've been a society in transition for a very long time, and often things need to be said, sometimes with seriousness and sometimes with a bit of humor, and sometimes with just reflection and generosity. And the arts creates that place. And this creates a platform to get those new ideas, those new voices, and to find a place for expression, a place, So when you talk about dignity through jobs, we'd like to believe this is also dignity through jobs and full expression, where young people, well, all people, can say what they feel they need to say, and there's an audience willing to support that message getting to South Africa and getting to society. So we're very proud of what we've been able to create at Texmark. Enrolling young people in a structured way is another thing, and I think very often we have a sense that we talk to young people, attending, and this year my presence has been light, but often at the festival where I've been able to attend, the education I receive by listening to what people have to say helps me orientate myself into the world we're going into. And we've been talking about the creative economy for a very long time. And we all, these days, if you want to list a product or if you want to take a new idea to market, you add AI next to it, artificial intelligence. You just put it in. Years ago, it was the gig economy, or you added a bit or a byte to it and you take it to market and you try and list it. These days, the new buzzword is AI, artificial intelligence. But artificial intelligence needs to be programmed, driven by individuals. It needs to be done and enhanced by people. And very often, science, math and technology is absolutely critical to the progress of society, but the humanity of people and the context gets created, I believe, through the arts. The context gets created by people in the artistic industry. So this creates an opportunity for us to attract more people into it. So the partnership that hopefully will be unveiled during the course of the afternoon creates an opportunity for us to broaden that reach. And we are extremely excited and proud. Ons is baie trots as KAK&K om volgende jaar, ek dink ons 30ste fees aan te bied. So the advantage we have with that is it's the audience that we're working with SAMRU, with the Jobs Fund initiative, with Concerts SA. We aren't newbies. We're people with a little bit of experience, people who've seen things come and go. We've learned a couple of lessons, and if we can't get it right, well, the Lord help South Africa. If we can't get it right between us with our experience, then I think there's something wrong. So to everybody, thank you for your support in this initiative. To the partners present here today and for what will be said, thank you very much for the courage in doing this. And then lastly, to the people who participated, who have the courage, as Yapi said, call us and we can support you. The actual writers who take the time to take ideas and distill it onto paper and then put it out into a play or a production. Firstly, congratulations, and secondly, thank you. Because without that material, these spaces are just vacuous, vacant places. So thank you to you for having the courage to put that in words and to bringing it to a production and being willing to present it here today. So it's my pleasure now to do what I was asked to do right at the outset, is really just to introduce the head of Concerts SA, a man with a lot of energy. And what he does is he does festivals all year, throughout the year, throughout the country. We just do it. Well, we do Texmark, we do 3 a year, and he does this all year. So, Andre, very nice to have you with us, and we're very pleased to listen to you this afternoon. Thank you.
Here Here, you see that, no? Gentlemen, you first, no, you first, no, you first. Ja, nou, Crispin, waarom toch gaan jy dan nou? Nee, my broer, man, just about starting here. Laura, and thank you for this beautiful venue. Thank you for this space. This place is part of my personal history. I used to have an office up there when we started Boer Theatre Company. I had an office up there when we were working with Follow Spot Productions. I had an office on the other side when I was marketing John Carney's The Island. It was a time when the Baxter was known as the Blackster, when there was tours between the Market Theatre and here. And this place is such a nice space to be able to think of our history, our culture, and my personal little heart, Vitmos. Crispin, what is it when you fly over a mountain and your accent so much change? Yes, sis. I don't know, my bro. It's nice to see all of you, although it's like dark, so I can't see all of you. Many of you have been part of our venues. Many have been part of being promoters, artists, and the stuff that we're announcing today is because of all of you. Today I stand before you not just as a representative of the entities that we're partnering with, but as a proud advocate of the arts and the immense value they bring to our society and to the economy. This speaks to our deep-rooted and long-term engagement in fostering the arts in South and Southern Africa and across Africa. Our country is known for the spirit of siyasebenza, the spirit of it. We still need to get the jobs there. We are a nation that works. We want our cities to work too, but we are a nation that works and we want to work more. We understand what Sekunjalo Kenako means. The time is now is the time, and we need to pick up. Our work is going to be evidence-based and is evidence-based, systematic and innovative, and it's guided by a strategic long-term vision that focuses on growing not just an economy, but an ecosystem. And it's important to acknowledge the difference between that. An ecosystem is built on partnerships, creativity, and sustainability. So our approach, like our friends in the Jobs Fund, is competitive and it's transparent. So don't complain when you lose out, you know. We run projects that embody these values, ensuring that every investment we make is impactful, it's meaningful, and it provides value for money. Over the years, we developed a range of models that adopt best practices, models of research and praxis that align with our value proposition, and it's underpinned by consistent research. Some of that research you'll find outside over there. Through our efforts, we supported both the emerging and established enterprises, artists, promoters, and venues. We've reached small businesses, micro businesses in the informal sector, and we provided mentorship, training, and once again research, which underpins what we do. Through partnerships with entities like SAMRO and the Norwegian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and others, and now the Jobs Fund, our work has helped artists and promoters to sustain themselves even in challenging times. And boy, do we in this sector know what challenging times are. So it's not just about creating jobs. It's about creating meaningful work. And Laura, Metamorphosis last night, that was meaningful work. And I encourage you all to see that production. I also want us to think about, close your eyes, and think about a song named Burnout by the legendary Sipho Mabuse. He may not have a conventional job, but his work, his music, it travels, it generates an income, it has an impact far beyond his physical presence on any stage. This is the nature of the work in the arts. It's about mobility, circulation, and sustainability. It's about creating a healthy ecosystem where creativity thrives. And now I want you to also remember the words of a popular song, "Make the circle bigger." That is exactly what we aim to do. This means expanding our reach within communities, across cities, through provinces, and extending it across the nation. It's about connecting the dots and building a coherent map and building a coherent ecosystem. So in conclusion, our goal together with our partners is to build a creative industry and an ecosystem that fosters economic growth, creates work opportunities, and enables income generation. We are here to build a soft infrastructure, the soft, crucial connective tissue that we need in our bodies, that binds us all. It erases borders, and it allows for the free flow of cultural goods and services across our country, our region, and our continent. And together with you, we can make that vision a reality. I thank you. I'd now like to call on my friend and colleague, Lesego Mafora from SAMRO, the man that dresses and looks spectacular, unlike me, and talking about CSI and some other stuff. Lesego.
Good afternoon. Yeah, I've been having such a long day, waking up 4 o'clock just to be here with you today. But firstly, I just want to thank everyone who's made this possible. I'd like to congratulate everyone who's taken part in Texmark, all of the festivals, the work that gets done. A lot of our members participate, earn revenue, earn life through these platforms. So from a SAMRO perspective, even though we focus specifically on the rights of our music creators, our composers, and you know, our performers, a lot of the work that we do intersects with a lot of the work that happens here in spaces like this. So, firstly, I think I want to give a shout out to Andre, because he kind of undersells himself in terms of the work that he does. IKS as an organization has been around for 20 years, and Concerts SA has been around for 10 plus years. SAMRO as an organization has been around for 60 years, started by the Roos family. And I think it's incredible that their legacy and their thought about the importance of protecting the rights of our creatives, the intellect that comes out of our country, and making sure that that work is recognized, but also the people that create that get rewarded. I think what's important around this partnership is, and I think something that's already been said, is around the sustainability of our creative sector, but I think the most important part is around the dignity of the people that work in that space. I think the notions around people being able to access finance, being able to secure a home, secure a car, live like you and me, normal life. And I think that the creative and art sector has, for a long time, not had that level of support and sustainability driven by the kind of contributions of people who care, patrons. But I think that with government coming on board through the Jobs Fund, SAMRO felt that it was important for us as an organization to play an important part. So what have we achieved through Concerts SA? And this is why I'm saying Andre undersells a lot of what they do. Through Concerts SA, we've created 26,636 work opportunities over the past 10 years. We've executed 3,858 concerts. We've been in 1,911 venues, and we've presented to over 1.1 million people. Right? This is the impact of a consistent commitment to supporting the arts. This is what can be done. I think the fact that we don't publicize this more, I think it's a disservice, one, to the people that create the beautiful work that happens, but also to the people that support, that underpin and make sure that this level of impact, societal impact, continues to grow year on year. I think also what's important is data and information. We don't focus a lot on the amount of research that is necessary to understand what are the input factors, what are the things that are blockages or constraints for people who work in our sector. What can we do that can make things better? And through the research, we've delivered a number of seminal works. In 2013, we did Songlines, which was a mapping of the South African live music space. In 2016, we looked at how do we craft models around live music spaces that create sustainability in the long term. In 2020, we looked, at terms of digital streaming and how it impacts on the lives of creatives, because ultimately the revenue streams have changed due to the digital nature that we now operate in. Crispin joked around AI and how everything is now AI, but I think when I read a research report by the German, similar to ours, the German CMO, and they are estimating that by 2028, streaming will take up 62% of all music revenues. So it's a real threat, but it's also a real opportunity. So with government, together with us and other stakeholders, with yourselves, we need to make sure that we have these conversations, make sure that we can leverage what technology brings to us, but make sure that it is to the benefit of the people that work in our sectors. I think, lastly, there's 6 things that I want to touch on, and I think I'll do it really quickly. But I think it's important to understand from a SAMRO perspective, an organization that through creatives turns over almost 600 million rand per year. That's royalties, that's money that creatives generate through their hard-earned talent and work. And what we think we can do through the program like this is increase exposure and create development for artists, because like anyone else, like accountants, like doctors, like anyone else who believes, in their craft, they need exposure. They need to be in places where people see them. They need to be with people who can encourage them to do better in the long term. That professional growth is important. Then there's issues around cultural exchange and regional integration. Art is not stopped by borders. Art exists across borders, across cultures, across country lines. And I think what's important about this is it allows us to then have that regional, continental reach that allows us to be able to interact with our peers across the continent. Thirdly, it's about economic growth and local job creation. And I think festivals play a really, really important part in being able to create opportunities for local communities to, one, have sustainable, regular, plannable incomes that they can plan around, but also allows them to identify talents within those particular communities. Then also it's about audience development and audiences starting to appreciate what platforms like these bring to their communities, but also how their participation in these platforms advances the sustainabilities of our creatives. And then lastly, I think it's really around advocating for the creative economy. People like Andre, everyone who's in this room is an advocate, but I think we need to be able to talk louder, talk to more people, increase the visibility of what is really happening in this space. And I think, from me, in short, the work that goes through the Mobility Fund is really important. Helping artists to get out there, helping them to move, helping them to perform can only bode well for our country. So in closing, I'd like to thank everyone for giving us the opportunity to be part of this. And I hope everything goes as we anticipate. And I thank you all. Thank you.
Thanks, Lesego. Yeah, we can't avoid the importance of AI. On the Cape Flats is AI. And one of the stats up there is 153 partnerships, my bro, you left that one out. But now talking about partnerships, the most important partner, the Jobs Fund here, is represented by Mr. Lionel Kunene, the Senior Technical Advisor. Come, Lionel, would you like to say a few words? Very briefly, he's a bit camera shy, and he's the Senior Technical Advisor at the Jobs Fund, our biggest, newest partner.
I'm taking that challenge. I will join the gym tomorrow. Thank you very much. I must first confess I am not into art. The only thing I can do when it comes to art is just to appreciate the talent, which was amazing from yesterday and today. I've seen some of the artists who blessed us here. Well done, and you make us believe that in what we are investing, it is the right place. I remember, was it last year sometime, sitting with Monica in her lovely office, beautiful view. She was explaining how this project will work. We had no clue. Luckily, in the team we had Spogazi and another partner who's not around. He's on leave. They were grasping the ideas when we had to go and sell the projects back at home. My job was to support the team. I was worried because I couldn't understand the language that Monica was speaking. But in these 2 days that we've seen through the small window, we've seen how amazing these interventions make. To see, I don't know, some people call it raw talent. To me, it looked like amazing. And when one looks at the types of jobs that the country has to build in the future, these young talents that are here, they represent that. I think we have gone past the days where a student will go to school hoping that tomorrow they'll be employed by a Sasol. Nothing against Sasol, I love them. I once worked for them. I love them. So we are very pleased to be partners in this. We also, it is the first type of the project which we have invested in. So I will leave the team, Andre James, Monica Lesejo, that there's so much on your shoulders to demonstrate that even this industry can create sustainable jobs. I'm not the one who used to be smart at class, but I remember in one of the strategy class, a professor saying, you must, whilst you are living today, but you must be thinking how the future will look like. I think the challenge that you will have is, whilst you are having these challenges today, 5 years, 10 years from now, how will the picture look like? I will leave you with that question. Thank you.
Yeah, Mabru. The most important thing you said is that you didn't have a clue. And whatever, many of us in the arts don't have a clue. And then it's like, who are you going to call? Monica Newton, that's who you're going to call. So Monica, please come join us on stage. And as she's coming up, my colleague James French, he said, everything was dark and I couldn't find anyone in the auditorium, but I spotted Monica straight away. And I said, why? He says, she's the only one with a bloody laptop open. In the morning, in the evening, at night, for the last year, the person that has pulled this collaboration together.
Hello, everybody. I'm Monica from the National Arts Festival, and I'm hoping what you see behind me is what designers would call the boilerplate from hell, and what we call an incredible new partnership to do something different and to work with a partner that we've not worked with before. But I think, Lionel, to you and the team, and all credit to DDG and your investment committee, is the engagement process with this incredible new funder was extraordinary. We have been talking consistently since we submitted the application in July last year. And what has come out of it is a project that we're very excited by, that we are talking to you about today for the first time, and so thank you so much to the Car team and Texmark for giving us the opportunity to pop in and to sort of ride the wave of what you've already created. But I think fundamentally, there's an origin story here which is almost as important as the project itself. The Tribio Fund and NATI called us together last year, just before the National Arts Festival, actually in June, to an indaba that wanted to talk about what do we do to support the industry post-COVID. And it was a diverse group of people. There were festival directors, there were artists, there were activists, there were lots of different kinds of people there. And one of the challenges that was put forward to the festival community was to say, you're kind of part of the problem because you're asking us to create new work over and over again, but you're not allowing us to generate the repertoire, which actually is where the value of work lies. And for me, fairly new to the environment. I only joined the National Arts Festival in 2020, but of course was a bureaucrat for a long time since in the years before then. It was kind of a wake-up call to go, okay, so we all think that we're doing something valuable, but until you see it from the perspective of somebody who steps back and sees the work of all of us together, actually there are different things that we can do. So, of course, this is an image of a meme. Change nothing, nothing changes. And of course, in South Africa, change is all we've had, right? We are the change nation. So in keeping with that, all right, I think there's been a lot of talk today about understanding our world as an ecosystem, and I know that this image might not be very clear to you guys sitting in the audience, but it comes from a report by UNIDO, which is one of the UN agencies focused on development, which starts to talk about the creative economy as an ecosystem. And of course, in South Africa, as we've moved through different sort of policies and things that are about supporting the creative industries, we've talked about value chains, we've talked about different kinds of things, but it tends to set up the impression that there's a linear trajectory between the start and the end. But for those of us that work in the sector, we know that they are concentric and eternal cycles, intersecting, touching each other, where content, original work, experience, and services across multiple different disciplines with multiple different partners touch and intersect and interact and grow and change all the time. So it's a completely different way of thinking. So for the festivals, we are not in competition with each other. We are, in fact, part of an ecosystem of content. And we move it in different ways and we support it in different ways. And that's really where some of this idea started to come forward, is to go, okay, so if you take Concerts SA, which is a year-round program, and you take the festivals, which largely operate across 9 months of the year, and you put them together in a circuit, how does that make a difference? How does it make you look at the world in a different kind of way? And what are the opportunities that you see when you start to imagine that there's actually a system? Not individual players, but actually a system of people deliberately and constructively using their platforms to support a particular objective. In this case, enterprises, income, and job creation, the national priorities. We also have an enormous amount of experience. The NAF is 50, Car heading into 30, 90, so many partners with enormous amounts of experience to bring to bear, to help, to support the new, to invigorate the old, and to really begin to imagine a completely different way of working. But also fundamentally to aggregate value across multiple disciplines. Because at the end of the day, there's not a lot of money. And so when you combine investment, when you don't just fling it into the wind, but you actually focus and target investment, then again, suddenly the picture changes. A 500,000 Rand budget is hard for one, but for five? And one of the most extraordinary things about Texmark is, of course, it is a story about exactly this. Everybody contributing their bit, doing their bit, playing their part, owning their responsibilities. And so what we're really hoping with this 2-year partnership between the Concerts SA project, NATI, the National Arts Festival, KAK&K, Sept Art Club, and Woordfees, is with a 20 million rand investment, 10 by the Jobs Fund, 10 by the partners. We have skin in the game to support new work as a catalyst for growth, to enable work to tour as a way of ensuring that there's continued income in a very, very deliberate way, but critically to also support the enterprises that are producing that work, because ultimately that's what the Jobs Fund is asking us to do, is to support creative enterprise for more sustainable companies that can rely on a more sustainable ecosystem. So working differently, thinking differently, doing differently, and with any luck, we'll have a different outcome. And of course, the Jobs Fund team is there to make sure that we are accountable. There are very, very strict governance protocols, as there should be. We're really looking forward to taking this journey to supporting, at minimum, 12 new works, 28 works to tour, and to supporting creative enterprise with monthly webinars that build capacity, networking opportunities at partner festivals and elsewhere, programs that invite programmers to come and see work. And very critically, also starting to work with enterprises to do things like building company assets, digital portfolios, building capacity, building skill. So insofar as there is financial support, there is also enterprise development. Insofar as there is also new work, there is also networking and the opportunity to create different kinds of partnerships. And so together, these partners have invested, have created something that we've never actually done before. Although, to be fair, there are, through NATI and through the Festival Forum, really good examples of how festivals like KAK&K, Woordfees, Art Club, Sept have been working together for a long time. And they've been incredibly generous in sharing their knowledge and their skill. And it's when we share, and it's when we co-invest, and it's when we talk, and when we converse, and when we find a genuine meeting in minds, okay, that we find the inspiration to do the different thing, to do it differently, and to have a different outcome. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming. We really hope that this project is going to start setting a new precedent. We hope that this project is going to be a new way of thinking about creative enterprise and creative ecosystems, and that ultimately will move all of us forward together. Are there any questions from the floor? Thank you. So, Laura, you're not kidding, these lights are bright. This is not normally where I sit in the world. So, anybody, any questions? All good? So if there are any media, we can definitely be available to take any questions. If you have any questions, please keep an eye on the social media platforms of the partners. We'll keep you informed. We'll keep you up to date. We're very much working in the context of our existing frame. So we'll be working with the existing open calls for festivals. Concerts SA will open a call soon. So very much trying to work within what is established rather than trying to create the new. And fundamentally, making a difference. Fingers crossed. Thanks so much. There's apparently still wine outside for networking. There you go. Okay. So we're all around. So thank you so much, everybody. And I think that brings us to the end of the session. Thank you.